stopped doing that and just allowed myself to just watch it and stop trying to figure it out, that's when I like adored it.
That's the way to watch it, is just to hopefully just open yourself up to whatever, because it changes a lot too. And I think those pivots could either be frustrating or, I hope, like exciting and invigorating. But it's one or the other, you know, like because if you fasten yourself to any given point in the film, you're not going to stay there.
Ari Aster has created 3 of the most unique horror movies of the last couple decades. First, with Hereditary, Aster gave us one of the most terrifying debuts in recent memory. Hereditary gave us some themes that would linger through all 3 movies. Family, trauma, and grief. Aster's movies are more psychological and surreal than conventionally scary. Midsommar continued to expound on many of the same themes. All 3 movies begin with the loss of a family member. In Hereditary, Annie Graham, a miniatures artist, loses her mother, Ellen. As Annie realizes that her emotionally distant mother wasn't who she said she was, the family begins a maddening descent into the occult. Midsommar, likewise, begins with Danny losing family. Danny's sister kills her parents and herself in one of the most haunting and shocking openings to a movie I've ever seen. Midsommar is also a story about loss and grief, inspired by a relationship and breakup that Ari Aster had. Danny must lose everything, her family, her relationship, her friends, to be reborn and to come out the other side with true emotional catharsis. Beau is Afraid, which is now in theaters, Ari Aster's 3rd film, is the one we're discussing tonight. In the beginning of the film, Beau's controlling and codependent mother, Mona Wasserman, is seemingly crushed by a chandelier in her very elegantly designed home. Interestingly, later in the film, we learn that Mona Wasserman's mother sounds a lot like Ellen, emotionally distant and afraid to even touch her children. Mona tries to do the opposite, becoming overly controlling, overly affectionate, and demanding. This leaves Beau, played excellently by Joaquin Phoenix, with crippling anxiety and complete inability to make his own decisions. I'm not sure anyone would accuse Midsommar or Hereditary of subtlety, but the world Ari Aster creates in Beau is Afraid is a truly terrifying and surreal to a mind-bending level. The entire film, we're not quite sure if what we're seeing is a dream or a hallucination, and it's through the eyes of Beau, who is overly medicated, scared of everything, and constantly getting life-threatening injuries. At times we seem to be inside of a dream within a dream, a nightmare within a nightmare, or even a video game. A lot of work so far, trying to decipher Beau is Afraid, has focused on Joseph Campbell. Ari Aster has called Beau is Afraid a Jewish Lord of the Rings, which can seem odd, but Tolkien's Lord of the Rings novels fit neatly within Joseph Campbell's hero's journey mythology. Otherwise known as a monomyth, the hero's journey is a template to understand everything from the novels and films we enjoy to religious stories and mythology.
The achievement of the hero is one that he is ready for, and it's really a manifestation of his character. And it's amusing the way in which the landscape and the conditions of the environment match the readiness of the hero. The adventure that he's ready for is the one that he gets. But then this can be seen also in the simple initiation ritual, where a child has to give up his childhood and become an adult.
And this is where Ari Aster inverts the hero's journey. Beau is not ready for the journey. In this movie, the journey to get home to bury his mother. Campbell talks about challenges and temptations that face the hero, and I'd argue that Beau fails all of the challenges and temptations that cross his path.
You're a lucky man.
What was this?
That's my little assistant health monitor. Keeps track of your condition.
He is unable to atone, fails in his effort to transform, and the moment where he could conceivably destroy his biggest tormentor, his mother, is aborted.
We're in our childhood for at least 14 years, and then to get out of that posture of dependency, psychological dependency, into one of psychological self-responsibility requires a death and resurrection. And that is the basic motif of the hero journey. Leaving one condition, finding the source of life to bring you forth in a richer or more mature or other condition.
The hero's journey, therefore, is unearned and unfulfilled. Beau is unwilling or unable to be transformed. Therefore, we're left with a deformed and failed hero's journey. The hero's journey motif is played with in an interlude. In the movie's most surreal scene, Beau is sucked into a play out in the forest. The play is a true hero's journey, with Beau losing his family, wife and sons, in a flood and traveling throughout foreign lands to make his way back to the village. He finally does, finding his 3 sons at the same forest play, a play within a play. However, at the last minute, he tells his son what his mother told him, which is that if he ejaculates, he will die, leading his son to ask, "How did you have us?" and bringing Beau back to reality with his own limitations. The same limitations that will stop his own hero's journey. On IMDb, these characters are listed as Hero Beau's wife and Hero Beau's sons. One other thing that all of Ari Aster's films have in common that I'd like to touch on. They all have repeated imagery and tokens that are used to both symbolize aspects of the story and serve diegetic purpose. They usually reflect something about the supernatural or occult aspects of the films. In Hereditary, Annie's dollhouse and miniatures track the fragile state of her mind. In Midsommar, we see intricate murals that track the events of the story. Beau's Afraid gives us a small statue of the Virgin Mother holding a baby Jesus that is replicated at Beau's mother's house in a tapestry. This movie is surrealist, psychologically anxiety-inducing, and pretty terrifying. We are made to feel like Beau in a heart-pounding 3-hour panic attack.
Am I dead?
No. You've been healing so quickly. And no organs were hit, and your bleeding was really mild.
What decision is this?